Ever had a dream so real it felt like waking life? In today's video, we're diving into the top 12 games where reality and dreams blur into one surreal experience. From navigating subconscious fears to bending time itself, these games take you to strange worlds where nothing is as it seems. Let's explore the weird and wonderful together. At number 12, we have the cult indie classic, Yume Nikki. Ever wondered what happens when you mix an existential crisis with a pixelated fever dream? Well, look no further. In this game, you play as Madatsuki, a young girl with a name as mysterious as the world she explores. Picture this, you're wandering through her unsettling dreamscapes, each one more bizarre than the last. No dialogue, no clear objectives, just you and your thoughts. And maybe a few creepy creatures lurking in the shadows. I remember the first time I booted up Yume Nikki. The lack of instructions felt like someone handed me a map to nowhere, but that's the beauty of it. The eerie imagery and surreal atmosphere will have you questioning what's real and what's just a figment of Madatsuki's overactive imagination. One minute you're in a colorful neon world, and the next you're navigating through dark, haunting landscapes that make you want to double check your door locks. The game has this way of making you feel like you've stepped into someone else's dream, or maybe nightmare. Every corner hides something unexpected, whether it's an oddly placed item or an NPC that gives you chills. But hey, who needs clarity when you have ambiance? Ready for a trip where time itself becomes a playground? Let's wind the clock back, or forward. At number 11, we have Braid. This game twists time into knots so tight, you'll feel like a pretzel by the end. You control Tim, a guy who's definitely not your average hero. Tim's got one heck of a trick up his sleeve. He can manipulate time. Yep, that's right. Rewind, fast forward, pause, you name it, he can do it. The world of Braid is a dreamlike canvas, each moment feeling like a memory replaying in an abstract painting. Picture this, you're moving through a beautifully hand-drawn landscape, but nothing is as it appears. Platforms vanish, enemies rewind themselves back to life, and puzzles bend your brain until it screams for mercy. One moment, I'm navigating through a serene meadow with soft music playing in the background. The next, I'm standing in front of a puzzle that seems impossible until, BAM! I rewind time and spot the solution that was right under my nose the whole time. It's like living inside a dream where the rules of reality don't apply. Tim's quest to find a mysterious princess feels almost secondary to the sheer joy of playing with time itself. Each level is more challenging than the last, requiring you to think outside the box and sometimes even break it. But let's not get too comfortable here. From bending time to bending your nerves, things are about to get a little creepier. At number 10, we have Little Nightmares. Ever wondered what it feels like to be a tiny girl named Six in a massive, nightmarish world? Well, strap in, because this game drops you right into that unsettling experience. Picture this, you're navigating through the Maw, a dark and grotesque place that makes the haunted house from your childhood look like a cozy bed and breakfast. The environments are surreal, dripping with an eerie charm that's both beautiful and horrifying. It's like Tim Burton decided to design a video game while having a particularly bad day. As Six, you're not just trying to survive, you're unraveling the mysteries of this twisted place. Each step you take reveals more of the grotesque creatures that inhabit the Maw. These aren't your run-of-the-mill baddies. We're talking about long-armed janitors and gluttonous guests who seem plucked straight from the deepest recesses of a nightmare. I remember my heart pounding as I sneaked past one of these monstrosities. Every creak of the floorboards felt amplified in the silence, making me second guess every move. The tension is palpable, keeping you on the edge of your seat, or in my case, practically off it. The game's art style is another thing altogether. It's almost like being inside a living painting where each brushstroke adds to the surreal horror. The world feels alive yet hauntingly wrong, making every encounter memorable. Speaking of nightmares, how about a dive into a fractured mind? Number 9 is Fran Bow, a dark tale of mental illness and reality slipping away. In this game, I step into the shoes of Fran, a young girl trapped between the real world and horrific hallucinations. From the get-go, I'm pulled into her tragic story, witnessing her parents' gruesome murder and then being committed to a sinister mental asylum. It's clear that Fran's world is anything but stable. Switching between twisted realms, this game is equal parts terrifying and thought-provoking. One moment, I'm navigating the cold, sterile hallways of the asylum. The next, I'm plunged into a nightmarish alternate reality filled with grotesque creatures and dark symbolism. It's like walking a tightrope between sanity and madness. The visuals are hauntingly beautiful. Every scene looks like a macabre illustration from a gothic fairy tale. Fran's eyes reflect a depth of sorrow and fear that makes me root for her survival even more. As I guide Fran through these twisted landscapes, the puzzles force me to think deeply about her fragile mental state. Each solution feels like peeling back another layer of her psyche. One moment sticks out vividly, finding myself in an eerie forest where every shadow seems to have its own sinister agenda. The trees whisper secrets that make my skin crawl, while the creatures lurking just out of sight keep me on edge. Fran's journey is heart-wrenching, filled with moments that make me question what's real and what's just a product of her fractured mind. The emotional weight of her story stays with me long after I've put down the controller. Let's keep the horror coming. Next, we enter a world where reality is constantly twisting out of control. At number 8, we have The Evil Within. Now, if you think you've seen it all in horror games, think again. In this game, I step into the shoes of Detective Sebastian Castellanos. From the get-go, I'm thrown into a world where nightmares and reality bleed together in ways that make my head spin. One minute, I'm walking down a dilapidated hospital corridor, and the next, I'm plummeting through a floor that shouldn't even exist. It's like the ground beneath me is constantly shifting, never giving me a moment's rest. The environments are a fever dream. One second, I'm in an eerie mansion with flickering lights and creaky floorboards. The next, I'm in a grotesque industrial hellscape with machinery that seems to pulse with malevolent life. Each shift is so jarring it feels like reality itself is breaking apart. There's this one part where I find myself in what looks like an abandoned village. Fog rolls in thick and heavy, and out of nowhere, the buildings start to twist and warp around me. It's like the whole place is alive, playing cruel tricks on my senses. The tension is relentless. Sebastian's journey through this twisted landscape is fraught with danger. Every shadow hides a potential threat. Every corner could be my last. The constant shifts make it impossible to feel safe or grounded. It's like being trapped in someone else's nightmare with no escape. Ready to question everything you know about choice and free will? Next up is a mind bender.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though
Coming in at number 7, the Stanley Parable. Imagine this. I'm Stanley, a regular office worker, navigating an office where reality itself seems to be the punchline of an elaborate joke. My job? Press buttons all day. Exciting, right? But one day, I realize all my coworkers have vanished. Cue the eerie silence. As I explore the office, a voice booms over the intercom. The narrator. He's got this British accent that's both soothing and condescending. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room, he declares. But do I really want to go there? The beauty of the Stanley Parable is that every choice, or refusal to choose, spirals into another bizarre scenario. I walk down a corridor, ignoring the narrator's instructions. Stanley knew he was going the wrong way, he comments, almost annoyed. I chuckle because defying him leads me into weirder and funnier situations. Doors appear where they shouldn't. Rooms loop back on themselves. And at one point, I find myself in a room full of monitors displaying my every move. This game is a masterclass in surreal comedy. Every decision unfolds another layer of absurdity. There's one moment where I follow a set of instructions only to find myself in a broom closet with the narrator exasperatedly pointing out how pointless my actions are. The Stanley Parable will have you laughing as you fall into paradox after paradox, each more surreal than the last. The narrator's witty commentary keeps me entertained and questioning every choice I make. From office absurdity to paranormal pandemonium, let's take a leap into the unknown. Number 6 is Control, where the boundaries of reality are not just bent, they're shattered. As Jesse Faden, I step into the Federal Bureau of Control, a place where the ordinary and extraordinary collide. From the moment I walk through the doors, it's clear that nothing here plays by the rules. The building itself seems alive, shifting and changing with a mind of its own. One minute I'm in a sterile office corridor, and the next the walls ripple and morph into an eerie, otherworldly landscape. Rooms change shape right before my eyes. Hallways stretch into infinity, and objects float as if gravity took a vacation. At one point, I enter a room only to find find the floor tilting beneath my feet, forcing me to steady myself as desks and chairs slide towards me. It's disorienting, like stepping into a dream where logic has no hold. And then there's the hiss, an otherworldly force that corrupts everything it touches. Its presence turns normal agents into twisted, hostile beings that attack on sight. As Jesse, I wield a powerful weapon known as the service weapon, which transforms to suit my needs. One moment it's a pistol, the next it morphs into a shotgun-like beast that packs a punch. The deeper I delve into the Bureau's mysteries, the more surreal things become. Objects of power defy physics and logic, like a refrigerator that demands constant attention or it'll unleash chaos. Each encounter leaves me questioning what's real and what's an illusion crafted by this enigmatic place. Ready for a story that's both scientific and magical? Let's head to a place where dreams feel more real than reality itself.
Zoe, there's a message.
Taking the number 5 spot is Dreamfall, The Longest Journey. I find myself navigating two parallel worlds, one grounded in science, the other drenched in magic. As Zoe Castillo, I'm thrust into a quest that blurs the line between reality and dreams. One minute I'm in Stark, a world dominated by technology and logic, where skyscrapers pierce the sky and neon lights cast an artificial glow. The next, I'm in Arcadia, a realm of magic where anything is possible, and the very air seems to hum with enchantment. It's not just a tale of dreams and alternate realities, it's a journey to find myself between them. Every choice I make feels like peeling back another layer of my own psyche. There's this one moment that sticks out vividly. I'm in Stark, standing on a crowded street corner, feeling the pulse of city life around me. Suddenly, a ripple runs through the air, and I'm yanked into Arcadia, standing at the edge of an ancient forest where the trees seem to whisper secrets. Navigating these worlds isn't just about solving puzzles or defeating enemies. It's about understanding the balance between science and magic, logic and emotion. Each character I meet, whether in Stark or Arcadia, adds depth to this intricate tapestry of parallel realities. Next, let's visit a town where reality warps under the weight of guilt and fear. At number 4, Silent Hill 2. I step into the shoes of James Sunderland, wandering through the eerie, fog-drenched streets of Silent Hill. The air is thick with a sense of dread. Every corner of this haunted town whispering secrets that feel like they're meant just for me. Each step echoes through the silence, a reminder that I'm utterly alone in this place, or so I think. Silent Hill is more than just a setting. It's a reflection of James's tormented psyche. As I explore, the town twists and warps, mirroring his darkest thoughts and fears. One moment, I'm standing in an abandoned apartment building with peeling wallpaper and flickering lights. The next, the walls themselves seem to pulse and breathe, as if the building is alive with malevolent intent. There's something deeply personal about this nightmarish landscape. It's like the town knows James better than he knows himself. Each twisted corridor and grotesque creature, a manifestation of his inner turmoil. I find myself in places that shouldn't exist. A rusted, blood-stained hospital room that reeks of decay. A foggy lakeside where shadows dance on the water's surface. Each encounter with Silent Hill's horrors feels like delving deeper into James's soul. The town isn't just haunted, it's haunting me with visions of guilt and regret. Every grotesque figure I face is a reminder of something James can't escape from within himself. Things are about to get even more surreal with a writer battling his own creations.
And all that time, she thought it was me. The scratch was still here.
At number 3, we have Alan Wake 2. As I step into the shoes of the famed writer, Alan Wake, I find myself plunged into a world where nightmares and reality blur into one terrifying tapestry. The darkness isn't just a lack of light, it's a living, breathing entity that seems to chase me through every twisted corner of this psychological thriller. I'm not just fighting monsters, I'm battling my own creations. Words I've written come to life, haunting me with their grotesque manifestations. One moment, I'm scribbling frantically in my notebook, trying to make sense of the chaos. The next, those very words materialize around me, shaping the world in ways I never intended. The line between what I've written and what's real becomes impossibly thin. I find myself questioning every shadow, every whisper. Is that figure in the distance a character from my latest novel, or something far more sinister? Next, we explore a beautiful but tragic family tale told through dreams and memories. Number 2 is What Remains of Edith Finch. As Edith Finch, I walk through the old family home, a place that feels more like a living museum than a house. The walls are lined with photographs and mementos, each one a piece of the family's bizarre and tragic history. There's a palpable sense of loss in the air, like the house itself is mourning its former occupants. I step into Molly's room first. The atmosphere shifts, becoming almost dreamlike. Suddenly, I'm no longer Edith. I'm Molly, experiencing her world through her eyes. Her story unfolds in a surreal sequence that blends reality and fantasy. One moment, I'm a little girl hungry for adventure. The next, I'm transformed into a cat, leaping from tree to tree in pursuit of a bird. Each family member's story is like this, a mix of the real and the fantastical that pulls me deeper into their lives and their fates. As I navigate these dreamlike sequences, I feel the weight of their experiences, both beautiful and heartbreaking. From swinging on the highest branches to diving deep into imaginary oceans, each tale is unforgettable. The stories are more than just memories. They're experiences that stay with me long after I leave each room. Every narrative is uniquely crafted to reflect the personality and fate of its teller. It's as if the house itself breathes life into these memories, making them vivid and hauntingly real. And finally, we travel inside the minds of others in a psychedelic adventure like no other.
Your father.
Taking the top spot is Psychonauts 2. In this game, I control Raz, a young psychic who has the unique ability to enter the minds of others. Imagine stepping into someone else's subconscious to uncover their deepest fears and desires. It's like diving headfirst into a living, breathing dreamscape. The visuals in Psychonauts 2 are stunningly surreal. Each mental landscape is bizarre and imaginative, making reality feel like a dream I can't wake from. One moment, I'm navigating a mind that looks like a psychedelic carnival, with colors swirling and twisting around me. The next, I'm in a dark, twisted version of a library where the bookshelves tower above me like ominous giants. Each mind I enter presents its own set of challenges and puzzles. I remember one particularly striking scene where I find myself in the mind of a chef. The world around me transforms into a chaotic kitchen where utensils float through the air and ingredients come to life, dancing and taunting me as I try to solve culinary-themed puzzles. It's as thrilling as it is bizarre. Every mental landscape is not just visually captivating, but also deeply symbolic. The fears and desires of each character manifest in ways that are both quirky and profound. In one mind, I'm tasked with navigating a maze of towering card houses, representing the fragile nature of the person's self-esteem. And there you have it, 12 games where dreams and reality collide in the most fantastical ways. From dream-walking to reality-bending horrors, these games blur the lines between the world we know and the worlds we fear. We've traversed nightmarish landscapes, defied omniscient narrators, and ventured into minds that twist reality in ways that defy logic. Each game offers a unique experience, drawing us into realms where dreams and nightmares coexist. So next time you're looking for something more than just a standard reality, dive into one of these games and get lost in the surreal. Whether it's the haunting streets of Silent Hill or the psychedelic adventures in Psychonauts 2, these worlds promise an escape from the mundane and a journey into the extraordinary. Did we miss any of your favorite reality-bending games? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming lists that explore the weird and wonderful. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes dreams are the best kind of reality.